What's up? What's up, you guys? What's happening? Happy Friday. We are live as we are every Friday. I know I'm coming on a little early, but today I was super pumped. I'm excited. I am bringing back on my partner to talk about real estate. I've been bombarded. It seems like, what month is it? We're almost in August, right? Like, we're in July and everyone's thinking real estate. I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know if everyone's starting to wake up and starting to realize, holy crap, there's so many opportunities to buy real estate. I don't know what it is, but I've got like probably about 10 to 15 emails of people asking me, hey, Joe, can you go a little deeper on real estate? Hey, how do I get a home? You know, what's the different ways of creative financing? So I decided today we're going to talk about real estate. If you guys know anything about me, I don't just do unclaimed funds. I don't just do e-commerce and all that stuff online. I also do real estate. Okay. And for me, real estate is truly a legacy play. This is me building generational wealth. So my children and my children's children and so on and so forth, they can have property and land. And I think this is so important for anyone who's an entrepreneur, especially when you guys are making six figures and higher. You guys should be tucking your money away in real estate for your tax benefits. So I'm not going to talk your ear off. I want to introduce you all to my good friend and my partner. Her name is Elizabeth, and she buys on average one new home a month. She is active duty military. She is doing this as a side hustle, part-time, buying property. I think actually, as of this month, I think she's doubling down. I think she's getting 2 new homes a month. And this is investment properties. She has a very diverse portfolio when it comes to her home buying. So today she's going to explain to you guys the differences of being a landlord and being an investor. There is a big difference between the two. And she's going to tell you what to avoid so you don't fall into this pits, because we all saw on the news when COVID hit, there's a pandemic and people didn't have to pay the rent and landlords were getting screwed and basically filing bankruptcy as landlords. And Elizabeth is going to share with us what she did to avoid bankruptcy, to avoid, falling into that trap where renters didn't want to pay her cash. And she's going to explain to you all why one of her favorite real estate plays is being the investor versus being the landlord. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and pull her on. Hi, Elizabeth. What's up? What's up? I wish I had some sound effects I can play. Ding, 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 ding. What's up? What's up? Okay, it's been too long. We did one and it was fire.
Crazy because I've been buying properties, renovating, getting all the materials, trying to design the properties how I wanted. It's just been chaos. And then I had to move from Arizona to St. Louis so that I can be closer to my properties and I can really watch what my properties are doing.
That's
and
crazy.
By being over here, I have met some wonderful people, increased my portfolio. I was able to meet bigger contractors and investors, and it's just been an amazing time.
Oh my God. See, people who follow my channel, they know I'm a serial entrepreneur. I deal with foreclosures, right? I enjoy, like how you can make money off of real estate when homes get foreclosed or before they get foreclosed. And I also love getting property. And I know you've mentored me and showed me a lot of nice hacks when it comes to building wealth off real estate. And one of my goals with this channel right here and in my Facebook groups and everything, I want to share this knowledge. I want to give people value, because I think my biggest holdup until I met you, my biggest holdup was like this weird fear that I was going to do it wrong. And like my family, like we do pretty well, income wise. And I didn't want to ruin that. Right. I didn't want to dig myself and family in a hole to where I've heard all the nightmare stories, the nightmare tenants, they break and destroy stuff. You got to come out of pocket all this money, just trying to be a landlord. And that Cinderella story, like you only make like $200 or $300 a profit a month. It was just like, it was a fear I had. And when you showed me how I can maximize profits and actually be able to really make it make sense financially, I'm like, okay, we got to do more live videos like this. And I know that the topic today, I would love for you to share like what we talked about already. Just share like the differences between being a landlord and an investor and why you chose to lean one way versus another with certain properties.
Okay, so when I first bought my first property, I had the worst tenant ever. He knew the laws. He knew every single law. So he figured out a way where he can move into my property, not pay rent, and have the law to his side where he can live in the property without paying rent. And I was like, oh my God, he's driving me crazy. So I had to go through the whole process to get him evicted. And when he was almost closed the day before the courthouse, he was depositing on my bank account 1 penny. 1 penny. And they said, oh, well, it looks like he's trying to make it. So they considered it, as long as he puts some money in my bank account, doesn't matter the amount. As long as he tries to put something into my bank account, it shows that he's trying to make the effort to make the payment. So the whole eviction process starts all over again. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I found a loop, and I was able to get him evicted. So finally, we evicted him out of the property. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing it like this again. I'm going to do better. And then I started meeting other investors, and they were telling me like, hey, why don't you become a banker? And I was like, what do you mean a banker? Like, I don't work for a bank. And they were like, you don't have to work for a bank. You have the money. They're like, yeah. So they're like, well, you cash investors, you can pay them an interest. They can invest in you to your properties, pay them an interest, and then they don't have to find the renters, find the properties, make the phone calls, deal with the renters and then the contractors and go buy the materials, and none of that. They just give you the cash, you'll have a contract in place, and then within the 12 months the contract ends, you give him his profit, his money back plus his interest, or however you did the contract, and then you'll just keep paying him the money. And that way, as being a cash investor, they're making money every month or every year or every 3 months, depends how long it takes for the property or the investments or the contract is. And they making the money, to do nothing. They're just to give you the money. They're making money to do nothing. So some companies, so I know some cash investors, they pay maybe 13% to invest in the property. Some of them might only pay you like 2 or 3% every month for the 12 months. For example, my company pays anywhere up to 18% for the properties. And then we offer training courses for them. So depends on the amount that you invest into the property, we give you a free course. We give you the free classes. We're giving you part of any questions that you have. We'll help you answer all the questions that you might have, help you close the deals. And we give you your cash in return of your properties. You being part of the investor. And then you see the whole process. We tell you like what's going on with the property. We can send you photos. We tell you, how the process is going. Sometimes you can even say, hey, you know what? I'd rather have pink colors on the wall. So if everybody says, okay, pink colors on the wall is going to look better on the property, let's do pink colors. But, help you design the property and stuff like that. So let you be part of the deal just for being a cash investor. But it's passive income. You don't do nothing, just get paid to do nothing.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because again, like, for someone like myself that was always fearful of investing in property, that was one of my biggest hangups. Dealing with contractors. If anyone out there watching live right now, if you guys dealt with contractors, I want you to share your story in the comments. Contractors, we love them when they're done, but we hate them during the process. And you guys gotta understand, contractor dates are never solid. They'll give you the best case scenario. They don't give you the worst case. They always give you best case to get the deal. Now, once you're in there, you're in there. There's really no breaking that marriage with that contractor, right? I remember Lynn and we were getting some additions added onto our house, and man, we were like running back and forth to Home Depot and Lowe's for these guys. I'm like, wait a minute, am I like an apprentice? Like, are y'all hiring me after this? Like, it ended up being such a pricey thing. So some contractors are better than others. And then, like, again, when you and I connected, and then you gave me that offer, like, hey, Joe, if you have the means of getting funding, right? So I went through that hard money lender, and I got some funds. I also got some business lines of credit. So those of you guys who are in business, Elizabeth taught me, how to get funding at 0% interest. So literally all I did, I used $0 out of my own pocket. I did not use my own money. I borrowed money. It was 0% interest. I gave it to Elizabeth to invest into a property we were mutually interested in. And all the while, other people's money was paying for this investment property.
Yeah.
Once Elizabeth finished getting everything done and got a renter in, she refinanced. She paid me back my money. Plus, I think it was like 15, 18% interest on top of my money. So I literally made money using someone else's money. I just shifted money from one side to another side. And then next thing you know, I'm getting all this cash. And we just kept doing it again and again and again. And you were just buying home after home after home. And my cash flow kept on getting bigger and bigger. And I think this is like why I think it's so important to understand, like it's great to have part of your portfolio to be a landlord. And I think it's amazing to also know how to be the bank, as you call it, right? Being the bank. That's why banks don't get into real estate. Banks get into the business of lending money so they can make that interest, because banks don't got the time to deal with the paint, the structure, or we were just talking about a little earlier before we came on live. AC units going out. Now you gotta go spend another 10 grand that you didn't expect on buying these things. Like these are the unexpected. If it can happen, it will happen at times, right? Happen. And I don't got time for that. I'm in California. This is not a landlord friendly state. That's why I like looking at Illinois and Missouri and all stuff, because I think they're more, friendly to the landlords than they are to the tenants. And it sucks because I can't invest in my own state. I refuse to invest in California just because of all the red tape and the price. So it's nice that I can invest anywhere in the United States as long as I got a good partner that can take care of their part. I'll be the bank. I'll be the bank all day long and not have to deal with someone not paying rent. Someone not paying rent has nothing to do with me. Like I'm just making money off real estate just by the exchange of like, my partner likes to be the boots on the ground. I like to be the cash. And then I think it just works out. So I love that you teach that in your course too. You're talking about like the course. You're not just doing the investing thing. You're actually teaching people how to be real estate investors with the different ways of creative financing, which I think
feel
is
like
awesome.
I have built such a great team here with my contractors, the stores, to be able to purchase my material, banks, loans, lenders, that it makes my process now a lot easier. So and then now everybody's like, hey, I have this property. It's like they're giving me properties. I don't even have to call to make properties. They keep calling me like, hey, look, I have this property. What do you think? Do you want it? Like, would you buy it for me? So now it's just like, man, it's amazing. Like it just, so for a lot of people that call me, they'll be like, oh my God, I bought this property. I didn't know my numbers. I didn't run the comps. I didn't understand it. And I'm like, well, what is the ARV? And they're like, well, what is that? Like they don't have no idea. They were just so excited about buying a house that they overpaid. And then after, the bank would not lend them money to either sell it, to refinance it, or they couldn't sell it because they overpaid. So now they're on negative equity on the property. And it's just because they didn't do the homework. They didn't understand real estate. So why not become a banker, give out the money, make sure you have a contract in place. Don't just let your uncle, your aunt, or your friend's money without a contract. Never do that. But have a contract in place and be the banker. Let your money, don't just let it sit in your bank account, sitting there looking pretty, but not doing anything for you. So if you invest it, hey, in 6 months, the property can be done, rented, refinance, you get your money back, your interest, and then you can sit there and reinvest it again and get another 18% and twice or 3 times during the year. Who doesn't want to do that and make that extra money?
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing.
I think what it is, and folks who follow me, they know I'm very, I keep it real. I'm very transparent. I think that a lot of us get this information online on YouTube or just float around about these Cinderella stories, right? Like when I was doing Airbnb, it was great. Don't get me wrong. The money was great. The thing that people don't share is they don't share how hard it is. Like the coordination of getting the house cleaned and turned, and what do you do if someone gives you a bad review, and people stealing from you and ruining your house, so things like that. So you got to decide as an investor, do I want to get active income or passive income? Active income is being a landlord. If you guys like the hustle and grind of being a landlord, I'm not going to knock it. Even though it's not for me, I think that's awesome, right? Because it's the excitement and the thrill of what's going to happen next month with my tenant, right? That's awesome for you, not for me, but like if we're talking like you're truly trying to make passive income, then I think having a diverse portfolio where yes, you own some land, you own some property that's easy for you to manage if it makes sense financially, and then additionally being a banker to where you understand the numbers, right? And I love that you coach people on this, because I think a lot of people don't understand the math. Like ARVs, you can get three people look at the same property and run the numbers on ARV, and you'll probably get three different answers. I think people just don't know. Like they're like, I don't know if this is a good deal or not. I had someone ask me if they should buy this $700,000 home. I think it was like a 4-bedroom house, 3 bathrooms, and like the homes in the neighborhood were selling like right around that price. I'm like, well, no, that's not a good deal. Like you're buying at market value. Why would you buy a house at market value? You want to get below that. But I think that it's good that you add coaching for people who invest with you. I love that, because we need that, because if I want to do my own thing on the side, I want to be able to educate it. I want to be able to know that I know what I'm doing and talking about. I don't want to be just like this miseducated investor. I want to know about it. So I think it's really smart. I think it's really smart that you added the course.
I have some cash investors where they might invest. Like people might be like, "Oh my God, but I'm not rich. I don't have $1 million to invest, or I don't have $400,000 to give out for the properties." And I'm like, you don't need that. For example, like for us, like if you give me, for example, $20,000, you have $20,000 right now sitting in your bank account. I can turn around and take that $20,000, invest it on a property, give you a return of 18%, which is equals about $3,600 in about 6 months time frame. And then I can take that $20,000 again, reinvesting in another property in that year, and give you another $3,600.
It's like getting a pay raise.
1 year, you're making $7,200 for $20,000. That's more than 401k. That's more than stocks that you're getting. That you're almost doubling. I mean, you're almost getting half of what you invested.
Yeah.
So why not? Like, if I can do this every year, imagine that $20,000 in 2 years, I was already doubling my profit.
Exactly.
And then so hey, if I have now $20,000, hey, let me reinvest another 20 and another 30 or 30, 40. Let me keep growing. Let me make that money, make my money.
Yeah.
So that's why I teach them. Like, hey, let me help you get how to get that cash flow. Like not everybody has to have good credit. Like you might have the cash, you might have horrible credit. Hey, I can still help you make the money, and I'm just looking at different strategies where I can help people. And then now if you have the cash and you're like, I do want to learn how to become an investor. Well, because you became a cash investor, you get a free course for free. You get our free meetings. You get to ask, you can email us, you have our contact information. You can contact us at any time with any questions that you have. Hey, I found this property. Do you mind looking at it? Hey, what about, can you help me run the comps? I don't understand how to run the comps on this property. And we are willing to help you out. So you don't just become just a cash investor. You become part of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's huge. Some people that if they're newer, and have never bought like courses that were worth the while, courses can range these days anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. The first real estate course I bought was $5,000. It's $5K. And I'll be honest, I learned almost nothing new, nothing that I didn't already know. And it really was just a guy just telling a bunch of stories about properties that he bought and like a bunch of definitions, right? So even though I was disappointed, for me, I think I needed to invest in myself, which was like buying a course. I had to invest in something to get the courage to start actively looking. But again, it's a lot of value to just give someone a course. Like, hey, I'm going to give you my course because you decided that you're going to like invest with me. So you're treating them like a partner, which I think is great. Here's one thing I think that's overlooked that a lot of people I think don't pay attention to, and that's the tax benefits to being in real estate, right? Like you get all kinds of tax benefits. And I try to stress to people all the time, don't just look at your return on investment. Think about like if you're putting money into a property and like how that actually saves you, like in taxes. And it's like you can either give Uncle Sam 30 to 40% of your income, or you can keep all of your money. And I prefer to keep all of my money because I'm paying taxes out the yin yang as a businessman anyway. I'm not trying to give out any more money, my family's money, than I have to. And I think a lot of times people who have W-2 jobs, they're so used to paying taxes that they just figure that's just a part of life.
That's a part of life.
Meanwhile, you got these billionaires, right? These real estate moguls, like they're running around and they're not paying but like a few bucks in taxes. And I'm like, it's mind blowing. And they're not cheating the system. They're playing by the tax code. I'll never forget when Robert Kawasaki said, taxes is for the rich. It's not for the poor. And when he said that, that just ingrained in my brain. It hurt, first of all. It was like I've been paying taxes my entire adult life. It hurt, but he was just being honest. Taxes is for the wealthy. It benefits the wealthy. It doesn't benefit the poor. Whenever you see people in Congress talk about, I cut taxes, they're not cutting it for us. They're cutting it for the wealthy. So I'm thinking if we all got smart and started learning this game right here, we can build that generational income and we can find ourselves not spending a ton in our income tax. You'll always pay taxes. You'll always have sales tax, right? You'll always have property tax. So we're all contributing still back to society. But when it comes to being taxed on the money that you make, real estate is the way to go. I'm just saying.
And then that's the thing too, like we said earlier, like become a cash investor, like you being part of the course where we're teaching you like, hey, how to open up your own business. Because when you give out the cash, you don't want to use your own name. You want to set up a business, set up your business name so you can write off all your business expenses, anything that you can write off. You can even go on vacation. Like, as long as you talk about your business and set up anything about the business and you have a business meeting, then your vacation is a write-off.
I went to Jamaica doing that.
Cell phone bill, like, your home office expenses. There's so much that you can write off as being a business owner. So I always recommend people like to open up their own business when they want to become an investor, and we can help you do that. And like Joe said, we help you get up a loan, a credit card where you pay 0% interest. We help you build your credit, pay 0% interest. You can invest it with us and make money with 0% interest. Yeah. How much better can it get?
Can I put you on a spot real quick? And in layman's terms, like if I was like a 5-year-old, could you explain? Because I didn't know this. I'm not ashamed to admit this. I did not understand what a tax deduction actually meant to me, right? So can you like if I was a 5-year-old, like can you explain like what that means? Like you're like I wrote off my cell phone bill for the whole year. I pay like a little over $100 a month for one cell phone, right? So that works out to be about $1,200, right? So $1,200 tax deduction. What does that really mean? Like what? I don't understand.
Okay, so let's go say right now you owe Uncle Sam $3,200 because you owe taxes. You didn't pay enough taxes during the year because your income is so high that Uncle Sam says, oh, because you make this much money, you owe us this much. Mm-hmm. Well, now because you have a cell phone deductions, all that income that you have is being deducted because you owe expenses on it. So now instead of making, let's go say $150,000, it might show that you only made $130 because we have to deduct all your expenses that you have. So now your tax bracket might change because you lowered. Or Uncle Sam says, oh, but since you did not make the $150, you made the $120. Now you don't owe us $3,500. You might only owe us $2,800, $2,700. But the more deductions that you have, that's $2,800 might be now $1,200, and then $1,000, and then maybe $0, or you might even get a return. So it just all depends on how much expenses do you have. But make sure that you write it down, have receipts, or because you don't want to just be like, oh yeah, I think I went to Egypt and I spent $5,000 on just my airfare, and I spent $50, for my whole family. Like, no, make sure that it makes sense. Like, don't just write up just like, oh, this number sounds good.
Yeah. Now that's another thing I want to ask you. I know this conversation is turned into a tax thing, but again, I'm like,
that's fine.
I would tell you, I used to pay $5,000 to $8,000 with my business every year. It sucked. And then when I started doing my taxes the right way, I can remember the first time my CPA was like, dude, you're getting $24,000 back. We got a $24,000 tax credit from the IRS, and that check was lovely. So speaking of receipts, I'm horrible at keeping receipts. In today's time, does a bank statement count for anything, or is it like you need to keep receipts? Like you just need to be responsible?
So bank statements, IRS does not count bank statements.
Mm,
IRS does not like bank
they don't care.
statements because they don't feel like it's proof. It's not showing you what you purchased. So that's
Got
why the bank statements are not good.
got it.
But there is so many software now where you can take pictures on your phone
Yeah,
to save the receipts. QuickBooks can upload, you take a picture and it scanners and it uploads all the receipts on there for you. And after you keep purchasing on the same store, it already automatically sets up the expenses for you, so you don't have to do it manually every single time. You can have your tax accountant and or a bookkeeper do that for you. There's so many ways that you can do it, but it doesn't have to be all expensive. Sometimes you can just get a little A to Z little binder and
Mhm.
put your receipts by month, and every single month count your totals of what you spend it. And then afterwards, you can put it in a shoebox or something to save it for that month, January, February, and you just total up every single tax that you spend on there, or totals that you spend on single materials. For example, for me, I have a bunch of Excel spreadsheets that I put in there for my labor for my contractors and my materials for my purchases that I do for every single repair that I have. That way I can keep track of all my expenses, and so that way I know how much I spent when I do my taxes for my properties. And because I have so many properties, I have to make sure I divide, separate it to do
Yeah,
my write-offs for each property.
got it. So being that you buy a new property every month, pretty much, and you're on pace to be doubling down, buying 2 new properties every month.
Yes, so right now
Um,
I'm closing. We are in the process of getting three of them, and right
three,
now we even
three.
looking into getting a commercial properties and trying to grow. So it's not just So right now, our capital investments is looking to expand and not just do houses. We're looking to apartments. We're trying to get healthcare businesses. So we're trying to
Yeah.
get different things. So yeah.
Could I convince you? Because I'm going to do a Zoom call. Can I convince you to join me so we can teach my audience how to get their first investment property like in the next 30 days? Like, would that be something you'd be willing to join us? And
Oh, I
and
would love to.
because I know our time is up right now, but it'd be awesome if you can join us and
Oh,
we
I
can
would
just and
love to.
I don't charge my people, but I reserve it for a small crowd. So it'd be like 5 to 10 people. I'll open up the seats for, and then what we'll do is let them do a live Q&A on a Zoom call so people can ask questions. We'll give them an hour of our time and we'll show people A to Z. This is how you get your first investment property, even if you have no money right now.
The money,
But
yep.
you know in your heart of hearts that you want to invest this year, you want to get investment property, or you want to be the bank, or you want to do like some creative financing. If that's you and you want to join us, Elizabeth, if you're cool with it, I'll extend the invite.
I'm
Okay,
down.
cool.
Let's do
All
it.
right, awesome. All right, guys. So here's the deal. Here's the rules. Number one, always, always, always make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm on YouTube a lot these days. Okay, so subscribe to my channel. But number two, I want you in a comment section, just type in the word #Zoom, and I'm gonna pick random 5, maybe 10 people max. I'm gonna just pick some folks to join us because I don't want to have 30 people asking questions, and then Elizabeth is like, "Whoa, this is like a 3-hour meeting. I thought you said an hour, Joe." So what we'll do is we'll do some in-depth, conversation Q&A. There's no charge. We just want to like see how many people are actually interested in stepping up and leveling up their real estate game. All right. And then you guys get to meet me. So if you guys haven't talked to me live, well, guess what? We're gonna be live together. We're gonna be doing it together, fam. But anyways, Elizabeth, thank you so much for breaking away from all those homes you're working on right
I
now.
know that's what I came from. So right now I'm like with my workout clothes. I was
Yeah.
running around, bringing materials to the properties and
Yes.
watching. We had the city inspection on one of my properties, and we passed. So
Yeah. Woo,
I had the
woo.
members coming in new renters moving in next week, and then my other
Nice.
one is going to be done this afternoon. So we'll have 2 properties done today.
Nice. Nice. Love
So
it. Love
yes,
it.
I'm excited. So this
Awesome.
morning has been a lot of running around, but I still make time for y'all.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. I will see you. Like I said, I'm gonna see all the folks who want to join us, and then what we'll do is we'll get a date. We'll send it to our private folks. We're not gonna make it public because then we're gonna get all kinds of people trying to join us. So as long as they're watching this video, and as long as their space is available, we'll take you in. Like I said, it'll be an open Q&A, and Elizabeth and I will talk in more detail on how you can get your first or your next investment property within 30 days. Even if you think you can't do it, even if you think your credit sucks or you're like, Joe, I got no money, I got property without using my own money. I didn't use any of my money, for my first property. And I give all credit to Elizabeth because she mentored me and showed me how to do it. And I stopped being scared, stopped being a punk, and I did it. It was good. It was good.
Worst enemy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm not scared
risk.
of anything, and I was scared to get a freaking house. I'm like, man, what's going on? But we got it done. That's all that matters. So, anyways, thank you. I'll catch up with you, and then everyone else. We'll see y'all later. See you next week. I gotta go.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Later. Have a good day.